Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu addressed the Congressional Committee and told them that this is a wake-up call, and they should not push the collective snooze button. And in fact, a few days after 9/11, America began taking the lead more than any other country in the world to fight terrorism and tyrants wherever they may be. That is why I am privileged today, as an American citizen and an Israeli citizen, to call upon the American ambassador to Israel, Dan Shapiro.
Well, thank you all for coming here today to join us in marking the 10-year commemoration of the 9/11 terror attacks. Prime Minister Netanyahu, you honor us with your presence as we mark this terrible chapter in our nation's history. But the U.S.-Israel partnership that is also demonstrated by your presence is also a source of great strength. So thank you for being here with us, and thank you, Mrs. Netanyahu, as well. We're proud to be here with photographer Robby Berman and with Raphael Ador and Isaac Weiss from the Jerusalem House of Quality, and to help in making these rare and powerful photographs available for all to see. 10 years ago, on September 11th, 2001, almost to the exact minute, nearly 3,000 people, Americans and citizens of other countries, going about their daily lives, perished in New York, Washington, D.C., and Pennsylvania. It was a devastating blow which has left a void in the lives of the families of those who lost their loved ones, and that void can never be filled. And all Americans, however they experienced those agonizing moments, were wounded and changed forever. I just came from a memorial ceremony at the beautiful memorial in the JNF KKL forest, where we pay tribute to those we lost. But now, at the beginning of a new decade, in addition to the pain we still feel, our message is one of hope and renewal. 10 years ago, we might have looked at Robby's photographs and registered only the devastation, the destruction, the smoke, the fire. Now that the dust has settled, we can see more clearly what was always there. Remarkable pictures of human dignity and strength, and the power of communities to grow again, literally, out of the ashes of ground zero. Today, we are comforted with the knowledge that we did not allow those attacks and the threat of terror to permanently take over our streets and buildings, places of worship, schools, and homes, the infrastructure of day-to-day life and community. We are more resilient, and we value life. I'm particularly touched by the portraits of the firemen, some of whom subsequently lost their lives, serving as living testimony to the courage and selflessness of the triumph of the human spirit. They present us with a face of heroism, the human response to inhuman acts of terrorism. Etched in the soot and dirt of their faces, we see the hope and courage of the human spirit shining through. Time has endowed these images with a new quality and deposited in the collective consciousness of the international community robust, life-affirming images. I speak of human bravery, of resilient communities which band together and help each other in times of need. I recently visited Ground Zero just before coming to Israel, and I can tell you that the place is actually now a hub of activity. Construction goes on. There's a testimony to the irrepressible tendency of the human spirit to regenerate itself and to rebuild what was destroyed and restore life. 9/11 is also a chance to pay tribute to the generation that has borne the burden for our security during a decade of war. Hundreds of thousands of American troops and Allied troops have served in war zones, deploying more than 2.5 million times. And 6,200 Americans have made the ultimate sacrifice in Afghanistan and Iraq. Many others have been grievously wounded. These brave men and women of the 9/11 generation are all volunteers who chose to serve in a time of war. They have upheld the virtues of service, sacrifice, and selflessness that have always been the source of America's strength. And we know that as we remain resilient, we share common experiences with communities all over the world who have also suffered from acts of terror. Communities who, like us, have got back up on their feet and rebuilt what they had lost. Following the recent terror attacks in Israel, I visited some of those who were wounded in the rocket attacks against Ashdod. I went to Ashdod and I saw the buildings riddled with shrapnel from the missile attacks. Children had been playing and studying inside those buildings and were when I visited. In my short time here as the United States ambassador, I've seen firsthand the resilience of the Israeli people in the face of terror. Even under attack, people in this country get up and resume their lives every morning. They send their children to school, the same children who may have spent the night in bomb shelters. They go to work, rebuild their homes, schools, and synagogues, and project something called business as usual. These brave Israelis underscore the endurance and determination of this country. Since 9/11, extraordinary efforts have been undertaken to keep America safe by first responders and state and local authorities, law enforcement and the intelligence community, and diplomats, and of course our troops overseas. And as we are building new international partnerships and deepening our core alliance, the U.S.-Israel relationship continues to grow and deepen. The United States is extraordinarily proud of its extensive military and security cooperation with Israel, which benefits both our countries, and remains steadfast in its commitment to help ensure the security and the people of the State of Israel. The last 10 years have shown us that the universal pursuit of dignity and freedom is stronger than violence. In their daily lives and activities, Israelis and Americans alike demonstrate time and again that democracy and civic engagement far outweigh random, senseless acts of terror. וברשותכם אני אוסיף כמה מילים בעברית. בשבילי ובשביל העמיתים שלי ואזרחים אמריקאים אחרים בארץ, יש זכות גדולה לזכור את ההתקפות של 11 לספטמבר בישראל. לדעתי, בכל העולם אין עם שמבין את הכאב שלנו, ואין עם שיכול לעזור לנו להמשיך לחיות ולבנות מחדש יותר מעם ישראל. בזמנים קשים וכבדים, הקשר המוסרי בינינו מחזק את שנינו. To repeat in English, for me and for my colleagues and the other Americans here, there's a great privilege to remember the September 11th attacks in Israel. In my opinion, in the whole world, there is no people who understands our pain and no people who can help us continue to live and rebuild more than the people of Israel. In difficult times, there's a moral bond between us that strengthens both of us. The human impetus to life overcomes the pain caused by death and destruction. I feel honored to be here in Israel at the dawning of the new decade after 9/11, to move forward with you all in your endeavors as a community, as a people, as a nation, and as allies. Thank you for sharing this day with us.